If you're bored of riding at 120 kilometers per hour, here's a little something to spice up your daily commute. I present to you this Ninja ZX-10R doing 150 kilometers per hour in 5th gear with an insane amount of throttle left over. This is insane. We have to talk about this. We've seen a few quick flybys on this channel, but this one might just take the cake because that was a ton of fun to watch. Let's go ahead and dive into it. As always, if you guys are looking for more videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. It helps us out a lot. Last but not least, check the links below for some great deals on motorcycle gear, so we don't want to waste any time. Let's go ahead and get right into this. Now, when I tell you there's everything on this bike, I mean it. This rider is pinned it all the way through 6th gear, which typically redlines around 165 to 170 kilometers per hour depending on the model year. But even with that, he's got a ton of throttle left over. Now, I know that most of you guys watching this probably are yuandanga na be riding at 150 kilometers per hour, let alone 160 kilometers per hour on public roads. But what this shows me is how much power this bike is making. He's only at 150 kilometers per hour. There's still so much left in the tank. This thing could easily hit 200 kilometers per hour, maybe even a little bit more. But then again, you need to remember that horsepower doesn't kill people. It's torque that does the damage. And from what I see, this is just a stock ZX-10R, so there's no modifications to the engine or anything like that. Now, is this safe? Probably not. Is this smart? Definitely not. But damn, that is fun to watch. You can just tell by the sound of the bike that it's having a blast. Now, you can really tell a stock bike from a modified bike. With a modified bike, you usually hear the air intake or even sometimes the exhaust. That's where you can tell it's been worked on. But with this, it sounds completely stock. So yeah, I would say that this is definitely a stock bike. But then again, I'm probably wrong. Most of the bikes we see on this channel are either stock or modified. It's really hard to tell these days. Now, I gotta ask you guys, would you ever ride like this? Would you ever risk your life and the lives of others to get a good YouTube video? I hope not, but I also hope that you're out riding today. Even though he's probably going a little bit too fast, the way he's carrying himself and his body position is actually pretty good. He's got his head up, looking through the corner, and he's not all over the bike. Now, I don't recommend that you go do this. This is really dangerous. But if you are going to ride like this, you might as well look good while doing it. And what better way to look good than with a full racing suit? I know that they're expensive, but this is one of those things that I feel like you have to experience for yourself. Once you put it on, once you actually get to go riding in a racing suit, you will never want to go back to regular street clothes. Trust me on this one. As I said before, most of you guys probably aren't going to be going 150 kilometers per hour on public roads, but this really goes to show the power that these bikes are capable of making. Now, some of you guys might say, well, that's not safe. And you're right, it's not. But think about this. He's only going 150 kilometers per hour. There's still a ton of room to work with. If you wanted to get on the throttle a little bit more, this thing would easily be capable of hitting 200 kilometers per hour. Now, again, that's not safe, but it's just cool to see how much power these bikes are making these days. They're putting out so much power, and it's just crazy to see how much they're capable of doing. Now, you don't need this much power on a motorcycle. In fact, I would say that 150 to 200 horsepower is plenty for most people. But for those of us who have a need for speed, this is what we love to see. Now, the reason I think this is a stock bike is because if you take a look at the gearing, he's currently in 5th gear and he's doing 150 kilometers per hour on a completely stock bike. That would be about the speed that you would be doing. Now, if you had an exhaust or maybe a tune, you could probably pick up a few more miles per hour in 5th gear, maybe even 6th gear. But this looks completely stock, so it's safe to say that this is probably just a bone stock bike. Now, if you take a look at the gearing, he's currently in 5th gear and he's doing 150 kilometers per hour on a completely stock bike. That would be about the speed that you would be doing. Now, if you had an exhaust or maybe a tune, you could probably pick up a few more miles per hour in 5th gear. But this looks completely stock. So it's safe to say that this is probably just a bone stock bike. Now, again, I'm probably wrong. Most of the bikes we see on this channel are either stock or modified. It's really hard to tell these days, but let's take a second and just appreciate how much power these bikes are making. This is a completely stock bike that is doing 150 kilometers per hour in 5th gear with an insane amount of throttle left over. This is absolutely nuts. You can tell by the way the bike accelerates that it's making a ton of power. It's not even trying. This thing could easily go 200 kilometers per hour if you wanted to, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you that these bikes are making a ton of power, and they're capable of so much more than we letting them do. Sure, you might not need this much power on a motorcycle, but that doesn't mean that it's not fun to have. Now, I don't condone speeding or riding like this on public roads. It's dangerous and it's illegal, but that doesn't mean that it's not fun to watch. This guy is having a blast, and it's contagious. Just watching this video makes me want to get out and ride, but I'm not gonna speed. Well, maybe I am. Don't tell the cops. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of our channel. We hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. It helps us out a lot. Until next time, guys, stay safe. Go ride, and we'll see you in the next one.